So this blog is about the intelligence of your heart energy. So I've been doing a lot of writing recently about what happens in your heart when you're engaging with something that's meaningful to you. And there's a lot of theory out there. If you can look up anything by the Heart Math Institute, it talks about how when you're doing something you love, your electromagnetic field of the heart increases. And then conversely, when we're doing things we don't like, it also decreases. You can also look up another blog that I've done where I actually show that process. So I use a little metal coat hanger to show the conduction of your electromagnetic field, depending on whether you're in a good space or a bad space, shall we say. But it's always amazing when you get a real clear hit of it actually happening. So tonight I was holding my spiral walk meditation that I do, which is this, it's a sort of ritual around letting go and also visioning fresh things for the future. And it's amazing when I was in that space, which for me is what I think of as like a really soul embodied space. So when I put that little ceremony together, it includes so many elements in there that mean like so much to me. There's so many things in there which connect to very deep parts of my soul. And so when I'm sitting there holding the space for that, I actually literally feel an expansion in my chest. My spine becomes upright and I can feel this almost like softening sense of well-being that comes across my entire body. And I remember first seeing this years ago. I used to see a chiropractor because I was a bit worried that I was a bit bent over. And then I used to notice that when I was actually going and doing something that I really liked, like walking into a dance class, I used to do a lot of 5 rhythms back then, or going to my yoga class, my spine actually would naturally elongate, my shoulders would naturally drop. And I started to realise this relationship between what I'm experiencing through my heart and actually what's happening in my posture. So again, tonight was such a marked example of that. And it brings about a certain state of relaxation that you can't cheat, because when you're resting easy in your body like that, it's incredibly comforting and nourishing. And, it requires you to be doing something that you either really like, or kind of being in a situation that really supports that in you, that you're doing something which facilitates that sense of ease in you. So by being in such a relaxed state and taking that tension out of my body, the body naturally starts to resource itself at a really deep level. And I'm pretty fit at the minute. So like I've been doing quite a lot of running, all kinds of different things. So I don't feel unfit. And I feel like I've really been pushing into what we'd think of as that yang, so that kind of assertion and that activity is your yang. But to get that genuine nourishment of what we think of as your yin, that genuine nourishment of feeling deeply, deeply resourced, takes quite a special set of circumstances. And for me, like I said, it's either doing something that's really soul embodied, because when I'm doing something that's really connected to my soul, my body relaxes to a much greater degree. Or it takes, where I was going to go with that. Also, just having my soul in my body nourishes me anyway. So doing what I love is really good for me, because like the body really relaxes, which allows the body to replenish. But actually, when your soul is also sitting in your body so comfortably, because your soul has got such a high vibration, that actually nourishes you anyway. And that's not an energy, again, you can get from outside of yourself. So I always notice when I've been doing lots of soul embodied things, I also don't pick as much at things around me. So I don't pick so much at the sweets. I feel just much less needy of getting energy from outside, because having that soul force sitting in my body just nourishes me and makes me feel much stronger. So if you're interested in all these kind of concepts and ideas, doing some holistic coaching at the minute. So I'm putting together an holistic coaching course. So look out for that. There'll be educational sessions like this around the nature of human energetics and the soul. And obviously, mechanisms which also enable you to find what these things are for you. because it's really important that you find for your individual self ways of accessing your own soul consciousness, if you like. What do you need to do to either be able to listen to the voice of your soul within, or what activities do you just need to find yourself doing where you just feel like you're expressing those soul qualities? All right, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.